what's up? What's happening? Happy Sunday. It's been a blinking minute since my last video posted. Yes, hopefully we're back to a more regularly scheduled appearance. In today's episode, we are graced by the musicality, and I mean that in a sincere way, of a wonderful company based out of the Netherlands called Mola Mola. Indeed. What are we reviewing? The space heater from Einstein. No, I'm just kidding. Although they do look kind of cool. I figured, by the way, sidebar, I figured since I rarely ever film in Studio B, today let's film from Studio B. So here we are. And yeah, going back to the Mola Mola. Here is this thing. Check this out. Barely bigger than the size of your iPhone. Just kidding. No, seriously though. I mean, in terms of consideration with regards to what's available on the market today with regards to phono stages, this is about the most compact design that I've lately seen, certainly by a mile, unless I take into consideration the entry-level Einstein, which has been one of my references, and or their single box solution, which has the power supply integrated, and or the top of the line Einstein version, which is my reference MC phono stage, which is an outboard power supply. And then comes this little sucker. I mean, it's beautifully built, all metal, not a single piece of plastic here. Yeah, gosh, amazing. So half chassis width, and even so, fully featured. 4 inputs, 3 line level, and 1 balanced input. It's got balanced outputs. Of course, the power connector, the 3 individual grounding connectors, and I mean, gosh, amazing. By the way, also comes with this adorable tiny little remote, which basically controls most of the functionality. But here's the kicker, guys. Here's the kicker. This is why I humbly feel that this Mola Mola Lupe has to be the most fully featured phono stage I've ever laid eyes on, period. Why do you ask? For the simple fact that, check this out. I'm grabbing my phone, not to look up some specs or a cheat sheet, but, yes, it's a fully featured remote control app from your iPhone or Android device to literally control every single parameter on this phono stage. You ask what parameters? Well, how about for starters, you can choose and pick not just the RIAA curve. If you have old Decca records, say from the 50s, mono, perhaps even, you can adjust and play it back via the Decca curve. Unbelievable. If you have shellac 78s, guess what? You can adjust and play back shellac 78s. They need a very different equalization curve than your modern day 12-inch RIAA encoded LP. You can do that all from the palm of your hand, the touch of a screen on your phone, from your chair. I mean, seriously, compared to my reference, which was Einstein for quite a number of years, probably the better part of the last 10 years or so, which is the exact antithesis to this Mola Mola Lupe. Because guess what? It does nothing other than amplify the RIAA curve in MC, moving cartridge, what am I talking about? Moving coil, for moving coil cartridges. So you've got complete polar opposites. And I gotta tell you, this Mola Mola, in all these years, I've listened to lots of phono stages, and many have come and gone for the simple fact that you know, to me, the Einstein, what I love about it is like everything else Einstein makes, it's wide bandwidth, basically from DC all the way up to 100, 200 megahertz. And it's got punch, it's got drive, shove, all the things that I love, right? And so invariably, I had phono stages in that, you know, do some things better, some things a little worse, but on average, it never really felt like, gosh, this is, you know, this is really better. Now, I will say, sonically, and by the way, let's do another sidebar. This here is what my ears sound like to the microphones built into, actually no, the other way around, to the AirPod Pro 2s, where through the power of your iPhone, you can do a medically authorized health check on your ears. Yes, it'll measure your hearing. I've talked about this for probably a good half dozen videos now since I've done my first measurements back in October, November last year when this came out via software update. And I've pounded on it and I kept saying, guys, in the VC community, in the audiophile community, in the YouTube reviewer community, or otherwise elsewhere, show us your hearing test. What do you hear? Because guess what? That'll impact, to some extent, large extent, how you perceive a component. There's nothing to be shy about it. My hearing is my hearing. And so this is what my hearing looks like, as you can clearly see. What? Hello? What? I'm deaf? No, just kidding. So yeah, I think that's very important. But anyway, back to the topic of the Mola Mola Lupe. So, you know, you connect it obviously like you would any other phono. And then you start futzing around with it. And you have from 40 dB to 87 dB of gain on the MC side in 5 dB increments. Unbelievable. On the moving magnet side, it's 40 dB and 55 dB. Of course, because it doesn't need as much gain and amplification. For this particular test and the cartridges that I've used it with, which has been the Lyra Atlas Lambda, the Lyra Kleos Mono, my beloved Dynavector XV1, the Brinkmann EMT TI, and what else did I put on there? The Einstein, the phono cartridge. And so, you know, for the most part, it was between 67 and 72 dBs that I needed amplification for. And then, of course, the loading goes anywhere from 60 ohms all the way to 1 kilo ohm. The Lyras tend to like the higher end of the resistance side, whereas the Dynavector found its sweet spot somewhere around the 500 ohm range, and the Brinkmann EMT tie somewhere around there as well. And then the Einstein, the pickup, I think that's what it's called. Sorry, the pickup. That was right around 750 or so, thereabouts. And again, all that configurable from your stinking iPhone. How cool is that? And or the remote. Well, I will say this. So, niggle point. Okay, this remote, unless you learn what these buttons do, these 5 buttons that you see do, and you memorize it by heart, you're SOL. You're shit out of luck. Because guess what? There's no imprint. There's nothing that says anything about what any of these buttons do. So I sort of memorized it. And it's cute. It's all metal, machined out of aluminum. The edges are a little on the sharp side. So maybe for the next revision, perhaps you guys can put, as the great Johnny I from Apple used to say, we've got these beautiful chamfered edges. So maybe you guys can chamfer the edges here of the aluminum. Other than that, yeah, I mean, hey, cool. But to be honest with you, most of the time I used the phone app, the Mola Mola Lupe app on my phone to adjust the different parameters, etc. Did I futz around with the little curves and all that? To an extent. I mean, I've got some old decas. Yeah, you can hear a a difference, obviously. But for the most part, most of my records are post the late 50s, mid 50s. And so that's where RIAA has pretty much standardized on anyway. I don't have all that many European classical records. So sometimes, you know, if you're playing a Philips from the 60s and 70s, they would use a different EQ curve and so on and so forth. And I think there's some obviously some online sites that showcase which records you should use which playback curve for. You know, to me, it's okay. Yes, does it make a difference? It does, right? I think particularly as you go back in time to the 50s, it probably makes a bigger difference than in the later part of the vinyl period. But it's kind of like VTA, vertical tracking angle. Are you going to adjust it for every record you play? I don't, right? There's some that do. Good for you. Happy to hear that you can hear that. I don't. And frankly, it's just entirely too much work. I just kind of put the record on and play it. And if it's a 180 gram record, it's a 180 gram record. If it's a 150 gram record, well, it's going to be a 150 gram record, and so on and so forth. I do not adjust the VTA individually. Now, let's get into the nitty gritty. What's it sound like, Danny? Well, so I was seriously... First of all, it's a tiny chassis. Second of all, it's chock full of parts and stuff, right? Obviously, to get all these features. And by the way, this is all done in the analog domain. It's stored digitally, but it's all adjusted in the analog domain. There's absolutely zero digital transcription or conversion that goes on in this phono stage, which obviously is very important for us. The first thing you notice is, damn, this thing is quiet. I've had quiet phono stages. The Einstein big 2-box phono stage is damn quiet. This is probably the closest that I've gotten to how quiet it is in terms of signal to noise ratio. I mean, it's nothing short of stunning, right? So what's that mean in simple terms? Well, again, as usual, the quieter the noise floor, the more information comes out that you can perceive, the more dynamics, generally speaking, although not always, and so on and so forth. And so, you know, you put the needle on the record, if it were, and boom, I mean, you hear it, the explosiveness, the thrill, the jump factor, it's all there. It really is. I am seriously impressed with the Mola Mola Lupe. And I have to say that this is probably the very first phono stage that I can say, me personally, you know, I can live with this, and it's about as good as the Einstein. I mean, I think the Einstein in absolute terms, go figure, it's twice as expensive. This is 10,000 US. The Einstein double box phono is right around 22, 23,000. Is it twice as good? No, it's not. It has maybe a little bit more of a margin on the explosiveness, on the dynamics and the punch, but not much. I mean, you really would be hard-pressed to hear the difference between the two, right? That's how good the damn Mola Mola is. It's not soft. It's, you know, it's got nice analog character and feel to it, obviously, right? But I would not call this a soft phono stage. I would not call this a mellifluous phono stage. I would not call this a warm phono stage. I'd probably peg it right at neutral, maybe a shy, a bit less than neutral on the cooler side. But to me, that's fine. Again, keep in mind, my hearing curve goes down as the frequencies go up. So if I have something with a little more bite, to me, that's just perfectly fine. And the plethora of records that I played with this, they all pretty much convey that same information. You know, whether it's that latest Mahler Sixth that I got from Deutsche Grammophon, the latest reissue, which was absolutely fantastic, the new Ravel box set, and or any of my electronic music, be it any of the tapes that I played with this Phono stage. Fantastic tape sound. Just kidding. Just checking if you guys are still watching and awake. No, of course it doesn't equalize for tapes. But seriously, I mean, the music that I play, you know, you go from Doris Day, you go from Etta James, you go from, you know, obviously Dinah Washington, all the way to jazz, the big boys, the small boys, the middle boys, and then to electronic rock. Gosh, it really sounds damn amazing. In fact, I had an industry friend visiting during this time, and we were both like, we played the Einstein, and then we played the Mola Mola, and we were like, damn, this is really, really, really good. So, that said, yeah, there you go. There you have it. You know, it's absolutely fully featured for $10,000. I personally think that if you get this with the 4 inputs, meaning you can run 4 arms side by side with 4 different cartridges, moving magnet. You can run 1 moving magnet, 2 moving magnets. Each input is individually switchable to moving magnet or moving coil. And by the way, very important, the gain stages for moving magnet and moving coil are in fact separate. Yes. So this is, to me, barring something that I get in later, which actually already arrived, this could be the Phono stage of the year for me personally, and hopefully for you guys out there. So, with that said, thanks for tuning in, as always. And seriously, if you're in the market for a Phono stage and you're looking to blow 10 grand, the Mola Mola should definitely be high on your checkout list. So, well done, Mola Mola team. Bill Parrish, GTT Audio, thank you for loaning me this Phono stage for this review. And the opinions expressed herein are my own personal. This was not a paid for review. Thank you very much. And so, yeah, have fun, kids. Until next time. Ciao.